Apparently, the next push for the Josephine County Public Safety Levy is to enlist the churches. At least this is what it's looking like. Would that be fair?
It looks fairly desperate here.
Okay. Tell us what's been going on here, Dale and Mike.
Well, essentially, yesterday in social media, somebody reflected that they went to church and they were very disappointed that they were being pushed toward voting for the levy. And then we got to actually look at the video of the sermon, and it really is fairly nakedly a levy push from the get-go. The entire sermon from the beginning up to the point where they show the video featuring two pastors, the sheriff and the police chief, is just a laying the groundwork, the foundation, as it were, for this ad at the end. And they never ever come out and say in it, vote for the levy, but it's very strongly implied.
Okay, so they don't say actually vote for the levy. It's not quite that naked, so it's partially naked. So maybe, Dale, what's the partially naked aspect of it? What's the implication?
Well, the pastor goes through a long soliloquy about Romans. And
is this the Romans 13? It was the Romans 13 argument. I figured that's where they were going.
It was that. And then he comes to the conclusion, it also says elsewhere in the Bible that if you question authority, and you may not know this about your own show, Bill, but if you question authority, you are really a follower of Satan. And I'm not making this up. I mean,
so you question authority. You're a follower of Satan.
He says it straight out.
Oh my gosh, I can smell the sulfur surrounding me right now because of this. Wait, what's getting warm in here? Is it just me?
You're also it's going to get warm today.
Okay, now something else I would ask: Did anybody within these churches stand up to the minister and say, "What about those men that basically questioned the authority of the King of England back in the day?" And
exactly,
and
we were just talking about that last night live on our show.
Yeah, and they started a war with the world's biggest power at that point.
Yes,
because they were
questioned King George. How dare we do that?
Okay. Wow.
Yes, the thing that's amazing to me, clearly all of these nice words were written before America was on the scene, which I believe changes the whole paradigm. And people need to think for themselves a little bit. And I'm really surprised that anybody could watch this video and not get that they're being spoon-fed, what the pastor wants you to do.
Well, apparently on social media, the one person, I'm going to leave his last name out, but he just called himself Terry, was pretty much weighing in. He felt pretty uncomfortable having this spoon-fed to him at church. Mm-hmm. So he saw through the charade from the sounds of it. And by the way, I am once again not questioning. I honestly think that the levy would do more good than harm right now. That's my personal opinion, but I'm not the one that has to pay for it, so I'm not voting on it. All right? That's kind of the way I'm coming at it, Dale and Mike.
Right. I personally think that aside from that, this isn't even a question of the legality of whether or not they can do this. I think it's whether or not this is in good taste. Do people really want persons who are helping them in a spiritual way to be, pointing them towards how to vote on the levy? It just seems,
Now, I've been a big fan of there not being 501c3 churches, just so they could actually go out there and speak freely without worrying about Caesar cracking down on them. I'm not in favor of the 501c3 church exemptions for this very reason. I want vibrant. I want churches that are willing to dig into politics if they wish to. But the difference, though, is that in this particular case, they are taking the 501c3 tax exemptions, and they're helping Caesar with Caesar's desires. See, that's kind of how I see it. What about you guys?
Well, every time that we've voted, our voters have decided, they've done a cost-benefit analysis, and they've decided, okay, if we have a certain amount of crime, we're willing to live with that so that we don't have a certain amount of property taxes. And they got to be feeling pretty bad if they're in their church and their wonderful minister on many things, instead of talking about the life of Jesus, he's talking about how they're knuckleheads. That came from the other church that was involved. They're knuckleheads for not following authority. And they're all Satan worshipers and idolaters. He also mentioned that.
Oh, okay, so, no, hold on. Wait a minute. To turn down the public safety levy means that the Josephine County people are Satan worshipers and idolaters?
Now, wait, okay, to be clear, it is never said directly, but the whole laying of the groundwork before is how you must accept authority, and how if you don't, somehow you're a Satan worshiper, and then it leads into this, and it's a pretty clear implication that what authority they want you to accept.
Well, little did I realize that Josephine County government officials were Cub Scouts for God. Coming in there, and I just...
Well, imagine that you're in church on Sunday, or temple or whatever, and they put out a video. They're going to show you a video, and you go, a video perhaps about the life of our Savior. That would be nice. No. This is a video with your minister and another minister and two law enforcement people, and they're talking about the desperate need to ignore the numbers and to embrace the dark figures of crime and vote for this levy or else, imagine the wrath of God on you if you don't vote the right way and you keep questioning authority, you terrible people.
How interesting. Well, I appreciate you bringing this story forward. And you actually have this video up on the site, right?
Oh, yeah, and we sent you a copy, too.
Okay, I'm going to embed it in the blog today because I think this is...
There's another connection here, Bill.
All right, go ahead.
And there's a connection between this and the miners.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Okay, so, all right, now let's tie together ministers preaching in favor of the public safety levy with questioning authority, meaning that you're in cahoots with Satan, and now the miners. Let's hear this.
Now, when Channel 5 went to this little press conference thing they had where people were protesting, saying, those terrible miners, they're way off in the woods somewhere.
And they're making us look bad, right, with the Oath Keepers.
Look bad. Yeah. Well, the number one guy that was leading that, his name is a fairly young guy, and his name is Alex Budd. And when Channel 5 asked him, well, are you with any organization? Oh, no, I'm not with any organization. Oh, yes, you are. So that's what we do at badcounty.com. We do our research.
Well, what's the organization?
This guy and some of the others that were at that are part of Oregon Action, which is out of Medford. That you may remember that group, Oregon Action. They're most notable for that failed attempt that they had to extend driver's licenses to illegal immigrants.
Yes.
Remember those guys?
Yes, I do.
Here's from Alex Budd's Facebook page, and he's talking on and on and on and on about the levy, and then he equates the miners to the Aryan nation that tried to show up and set up their headquarters here.
Wow. Well, that's a bit of a stretch there.
So, you see, if you oppose the levy and established authorities in government, if you listen to KMED, or heaven forbid, if you go to badcounty.com, you are questioning authority, you are followers of Satan, and you need to, as they said at the Republican Central Committee headquarters twice, you should go to hell.
Okay, well, that's right, because the Republican committee in Josephine County came out in favor of voting against the levy. So that means that they are devil worshippers, too, according to some of
the opposition folks at two different times told some of the folks that were involved with saying no to the levy, they said, go to hell.
Okay.
This is how desperate they're getting. It's not working. And so they're doing it. This is the October surprise.
This is the April 26th surprise. It's the 27th today, but yesterday was when they did this. All right, very good. Badcounty.com. Link to it all over there. Dale and Mike, thanks for sharing this, and I know you'll talk more about this later on your show, okay?
Follow the news.
All right, be well. What a story. What a story, huh?